Good evening, my lovelies, and welcome. I'm Lady McCreepster. This evening we have a tale from the Creepypasta wiki, which is actually part of a series. Some of you may have already heard the tale $1.wave. Well, this tale is part of the series that is from. Now, if you haven't heard $1.wave, leave me a comment in the section below if you're listening to YouTube, and perhaps I may read it on this channel myself. For now though, my dears, let's get on with the tale at hand. So, come now, lean in closer, and we'll begin. My name is Henry Goodman. Yes, I am related to John Goodman, the blogger that had a rather unpleasant experience with a file called $1.wave. I am his brother. I am the father of 3 kids. I have a wife whose name is Jenny Goodman, and I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm here to tell you about a rather disturbing experience I had involving a used camcorder I got off eBay. It's strange. Both me and John's problems happened when we bought something off eBay. Anywho, on with my story. So, me and my family were planning a vacation and wanted to capture our trip on tape, as well as take some photos. Unfortunately, our video camera was broken, so we would either have to get a new one or just take photos instead. I went on eBay to see if anyone was selling a camcorder. Well, long story short, I found one, bid on it, and won. A few days later, I received a small package which had the camcorder in it. I opened up the box and took it out. It was the typical camcorder with the little small screen on it and such. I had some blank Sony camcorder tapes, so I opened up the camcorder to put one in. To my surprise, however, there was already a tape inside. I assumed it was one that the previous owner forgot to take out. It was a used camcorder after all. I hoped nothing important was on it, otherwise they'd be pretty upset about losing it. I took the tape out and looked at it. There was a piece of yellow masking tape stuck on the front, labeled with black Sharpie, 2006. Just 2006 and nothing else. I decided to play the tape, just to see what was on it. I put it back inside the camcorder and hooked it up to my TV. I rewound the tape, but it was already at the beginning. So I did the usual crap to play a tape from a camcorder to the TV. The tape started with 10 seconds of a blank blue screen. Then it cut to someone filming a school playground on a cloudy day. Kids ran around and played, but whoever was filming seemed to just be interested in one of them. A little girl, probably about 5 years old, with pale skin, brown hair, brown eyes, wearing a yellow coat. Whoever was filming was following her and watching her play. Sometimes the person filming would talk to the girl, and it was a man's voice. He called the girl Alice. I assumed the person filming was the girl's father, and that it must have been some recording of her last day of school or something. If it was, it must have been important to him. I felt bad for him losing something this precious, but I had little time to ponder it, because suddenly a very loud drone buzzing sound burst from the speakers, scaring the living crap out of me. The scenery had changed. It was now nighttime, and the school was deserted except for the girl. All the while, that ear-piercing buzz continued to sound from the TV speakers. I plugged my ears. The girl was turned away from the camera, so I couldn't see her face. She just stood there, motionless. Then, she turned to face the camera. And what I saw, well, I didn't see that one coming. The girl's eyeballs were gone. Just dark, empty sockets where they should have been. There wasn't blood or anything. The eyeballs were literally just gone. Her mouth was drooling some kind of disgusting green slime, and her nose was missing. Not like it was cut off, but simply not there. Only plain skin where it should have been. Think of Patrick from SpongeBob. You get the idea. The scene then burst into static. The buzzing noise stopped, but you could hear the sound of knives slicing against flesh and blood-curdling screams. Then the scene returned and the girl was hung by a swing in a swing set, with several nasty wounds across her body and a bloody knife laying on the ground below her. Her eyeballs were still gone, and her mouth still dripped the weird green slime, and she still had no nose. The tape was silent. No loud buzzing or anything, just silence as the girl dangled around. My heart pounding so hard it threatened to burst, scared out of my mind because of the sudden buzzing sound and, to a lesser degree, the disturbing footage that accompanied it. I sprinted over to the TV and shut it off. I ejected the tape from the camcorder, shut it off, and unhooked it from the TV. I took a hammer and smashed the tape to tiny pieces. Breathing heavily, still not sure what the heck had just happened, I sat back down on the couch. I just stayed there for a while, staring at the blank TV screen. After I had finally calmed down, Jenny came home from the grocery store. I helped her bring in the groceries. I didn't tell her about the tape because she'd think I was going insane. The dream I had that night was not pleasant. I was in a dark hallway. My throat, it felt like someone was repeatedly flicking my Adam's apple. That loud buzzing from the tape played non-stop. It wasn't coming from any direction, it was just there in my ears, as if I was wearing headphones and the sound was playing in them. I was scared out of my mind. I wanted desperately to get out, to go home, to be in the comfort of my bed. I tried crying for help, but no matter how hard I did, no sound would come out. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. Not having a bucket or toilet nearby, I puked on the floor. But instead of puke, I hurled up a small Sony videotape with masking tape on the front labeled 2006 in black Sharpie. Then, the tape morphed into a girl. No, not just any girl. It was the girl in the tape. Her eyeballs were gone, her mouth oozed green slime, and she had no nose. She slowly walked down the hallway, and for some reason, I followed. All the while, that awful buzzing noise kept playing. She led me down the hallway, and I realized where I was: an elementary school. Kids' drawings and other art lined the walls. Posters saying, "Vote Josh for school president," were everywhere. You get the idea. She led me out an open door and into the playground. It was the very same playground from the tape, and a man was there, holding a camcorder, recording us. But not just any camcorder. It was the very same camcorder that I had gotten off eBay. He just stood there recording us. The girl led me over to a swing set. She pulled a knife out of her pocket. My body then became frozen in place. I couldn't move my eyes. I couldn't move my head. I was forced to watch in horror as the girl sliced herself up with the knife, giving her the same wounds as in the video. The buzzing sound stopped, replaced with the girl's blood-curdling screams of agony. Then she put her neck into one of the swings as if it was a noose. The swing pulled up on its own accord, killing the girl. She dangled from the noose just like in the video. After a few moments, I could move my body again. I sprinted over to the man holding the camcorder. He just looked at me and smiled. "That's my girl," he said. "I'm so proud." I jolted awake. My heart pounded, my forehead was sweaty, and I was breathing heavily. Jenny lay next to me, apparently still asleep. I sat there for a long while and finally calmed down. I lay back down in bed and closed my eyes. I couldn't fall back to sleep. My tossing and turning finally woke Jenny up. She got mad and went to sleep on the sofa. She opened the door, but then she froze. She just stood there, and I could see her hands trembling. I asked her what was the matter. She just stuck a trembling finger out the door. I got out of bed and looked where she was pointing. My blood ran cold. There was a hallway outside the door going out to the living room, where the TV was. From down the hall, I could see the TV. It was on, and on it was the little girl's face, missing eyeballs and all. But then I realized that the TV was in a corner of the room I could not see from where I was. My sleep-deprived brain mistook what I saw as the TV, but it wasn't the TV. It was the window. I do love these classic creepypasta tales. If you enjoyed this one, let me know in the comment section below if you're listening on YouTube. And if you'd like to hear $1.wave, let me know as well. Before I leave, as usual, I would like to thank my dog family on Patreon for their continuous support. Family members such as Dawn Fritzwater, Laura Seta-Penry, Kira Powell, Leslie Robinson, Oliver Dace, L. Andrew Augustus, Stephen Aguilera, Casey Eichenser, Taylor Fluth, and Bill Thornsley. If you'd like to find out how you can support this podcast and channel as well, go to patreon.com/LadyMcCreepster for more information. If you have a tale, be it your own or a tale that you've heard from somewhere else that you'd like to be considered for this channel and podcast, send it to lady.mccreepster@gmail.com. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am Lady McCreepster on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. Unfortunately, my dears, that is all the time we have this evening. Till next time, sweet dreams.